The development of humans in paradise. What development did the people who were and still are at home in paradise go through? Let's take a look at this planet. They have everything they need to live. Fertile soil, green meadows, blooming flowers, magnificent fruit trees, vegetables, clear rivers, and water sources. Even the grain for bread is not denied to them. For creation, they have construction materials, earth, minerals, metals, rocks, oils, gases, coal, wood, in various forms and types, occurring in finite quantities, but in almost absurdly large amounts. All of this is provided to them by the earth as paradise. What happened to the people in this situation? We are all just humans who have always been and are still in the process of development, growing up in small tribes that turned into villages, which then formed cities, which eventually found themselves in countries, whether they wanted to or not. Life evolved, circumstances changed in certain respects, technological progress began, but so did the progress in what people believed. Various texts were written, attempting to express the truth from feelings into words, and subjective impressions took up more space than objective observations and perceptions. Opinions about the truth drifted further apart. Perceptions drifted towards each other and away from reality. And more imagined stories about the truth of our existence were written. Eventually, for the people who read these books, who began to believe these fanatical states and nonsensical circumstances, it became a tragedy for many souls. They forced other people to believe in what they themselves believed. The truth became secondary, and faith gained more and more followers. During the time of the Crusades about 1,000 years ago, one paid with their life if they did not want to believe the fanatics. Many souls paid with their lives because the 9 Crusades lasted a whopping 300 years. Through book burnings, many perspectives of different works were destroyed, which contradicted their illusionary ideologies or were considered undesirable. Thus, conditions and circumstances of the suppression of free thinking and freedom of speech arose in some places. The times of war, however, were still not over. Only a few texts remained. They wrote about the banishment of people from paradise for trivial reasons, or that paradise awaited them in the next life, or that this life was just a test, and so on. When the remaining books about the beliefs reached the hands of the following generations, the cycle of belief in these stories began to take its course. The fear of having to believe something was deeply rooted by the Crusades. The later texts written about other religions moved away from the core area. It didn't take long for the once paradise to be filled only with illusions and fanatical views. People had become so entangled in their own minds and false beliefs that they could no longer recognize the truth. People don't come closer to each other because they believe in too many different things. We see the consequences of this tragedy every day in this world, where inhumane things happen in some places, partly because they believe that parts of this world belong to them, or that they are only part of a nation, or only part of their faith, even though they only spend a certain lifetime in the world, and are, so to speak, just visiting. They act as if they will never leave this world, but do not consider that they could someday be visiting somewhere else. In some places, people are more occupied with fighting each other. How does this happen? In the development of for us humans arise different perspectives, which are more or less attributable to belonging. To grasp the dimensions of the dilemma in which we inevitably find ourselves today, whether religious affiliation contribute to the biggest problems. What is a person's belonging? A brief explanation. The existence and belonging of a person refers to the following affiliations: religious affiliation, nationality, financial affiliation, professional affiliation, intellectual affiliation subjectively, hobby-related affiliation, digital affiliation, sexual affiliation. Each person holds these affiliations in a society. The existence and belonging of a person can be globally influenced in society by various factors and have far-reaching effects on an individual's life and experiences, and thus shape an individual's perspective. People can feel belonging to different groups at different times in their lives, and their identity can be shaped by a variety of factors. A person's belonging can be interpreted in various ways. Here are some examples of the defined belonging in which a person finds themselves. or has found themselves. Religious affiliation. Belonging to a specific faith or religious community often shapes a person's values and beliefs. With so many religions, we have too many differentiated values and views. The short definition is important to better understand the differences between the various circumstances in which other people find themselves. Currently, there are over 170 different belief systems, with most people adhering to the 7 world religions. The absurd development contrary to truth we have allowed. Perhaps one of the biggest problems. The challenge also includes distributing the resources that this world possesses fairly among us humans, reusing resources through recycling, organizing a social system for us humans worldwide, providing care and support for all of us. Paradise should not only be a physical place, but a state of being where truth and fairness should prevail. Of course, we need to take care of our paradise, also of ourselves living in it, because what we make of it is our responsibility, and that can only happen through collaboration. Globally, we should not live in competition, because in conditions of poverty, discrimination, social injustice, economic inequality, political instability, conflicts, and wars, the injustice that can befall one is too great. We do not want to live in such circumstances, where we have no access to resources or cannot use them. It starts with Earth resources and ends with digital online access to AI and AI services. Because who wouldn't want to live again and experience life differently, better, in a time where technological progress is more advanced, at least social progress? We always complain that certain things didn't exist in our time. The circumstances into which we are born should be fair worldwide, because we don't know where we will be reborn. It is in our hands to make the world in which we all live, have lived, and will live a better place. If we allow suffering, it could happen to us. No one really wants that. If we tolerate countless beliefs, it could also happen to us. That we are reborn into a belief that blinds us. For example, believing that paradise awaits us only in the next life, and life after life, not seeing the truth, because the belief clouds the view of this paradise. Or believing that God beamed Adam and Eve out of paradise, because compared to all other known celestial bodies, none have as many different resources as our paradise. Or from a thermal gravitational perspective, it is not possible. The fact is, there is no other planet that is hospitable, where the development of human life is possible. Just from this perspective, compared to millions of other celestial bodies, the answer is that our planet is paradise. Therefore, we still live in paradise, and no one has been expelled from it. God sent a soul into paradise. He was to tell the truth to the people. It was his mission. He knew the truth from God, that people live in paradise, but unfortunately do not see it, because they believe too many different things. The child grew up amidst many illusions of belief. It was also difficult for the child not to be influenced, or to gain access to resources to fulfill his mission, for which he was sent into this world, paradise. That the truth as such is not in a book, and that he should write a message that logically shows what one should really think about. The truth is life and development, and we see it every day. Over 7 billion people now live in paradise. If we shirk this responsibility, we will pay a high price for it. Even discussing the situation we are in can help us see the world for what it really is. Paradise.